Thanks for reading, Natalie. So you're already the host. I've already put this class to live stream and would also be the one to put it on record later. So if you could make me the co-host.
Sure, no worries.
Okay. Just tell me if you need any help. Maybe you want me to troubleshoot something in your end. You're good to go?
Yeah. The only thing is, if there's a question up on the screen and I haven't noticed it, can you just like in the chat box, can you let me know that that's there?
Sure thing.
Also, if somebody's not talking, like once I'm up and doing the exercises, can you mute them? Because sometimes they come unmuted and then there's a lot of background noise. So that's
okay. Okay, got it.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, here we are. Welcome back, Jody, and welcome back, Loretta.
Hi, how you doing, Natalie?
How are you feeling today, Loretta?
I'm good. I'm ready to go.
Excellent. Good to hear. All right. How late is it there for you now?
It's 8:00 p.m.
Okay, not too bad.
And the weather is 80 degrees. The weather is great.
Oh, how lovely. Wow. Is it going to stay like that all night?
No, we're supposed to have a little light rain in Detroit.
Okay. All right. Well, that's lovely. I was out this morning to go and do a private client, and I've got this little electric scooter, and I was freezing. I'm so cold. My puffer jacket, like 5 layers. I'm sitting in front of a heater right now. It's not that cold, but it just feels that cold.
Natalie, what's the temperature?
Good question. Hang on. What does my watch say? I'll have a look. 13. That's Celsius. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. 13, 13.
That's cold.
Yeah, that's cold. That's cold. Yeah, we're sort of hitting winter right now. So, which is why I have a jumper on right now. I might take that off in a minute. All right. Oh, hang on. I'm on a big screen. Let's see who else is there before I do that. So, who else am I welcoming? Doris, Terry, welcome. Carol Sue, welcome back. How are you feeling today, everyone who I haven't already spoken to? All good?
Feeling good.
Excellent.
Your classes are getting very popular. They're difficult to get into, you know.
Yeah, but you know what happens? Half the people don't show up. So, but I'm on TV a lot. I'm on actually the TV today. So if you miss me being able to sign in, you can just turn on Get Set Up TV.
Oh, okay.
That's a bit of a bonus. Yeah, so that's one way. Yeah, I think people sign up and then they get to 8 o'clock at night and they go, oh, really? I've had a big day. I can't be bothered doing anything now. Anyway, that's my theory. I don't know, but yeah, that could be a possibility. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, so that is an option. If you can't get on and you want to do a class, have a look at it. Get onto the Get Set Up TV channel and click on that, and hopefully you'll be able to see me there. I am there right now. So welcome, Cynthia. Doris and Janet is trying to connect on in to her audio. I'm not sure whether you can hear me or not, but yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. Has anybody made any connections across the country by being here on Get Set Up or anything? No? Maybe one day, maybe, who knows? I kind of think that one day you'll be there and a friend that you haven't seen for years will pop up somewhere else on the screen. I think that might be a nice thing. All right, Cynthia, welcome back. There you are.
Thank you. I'm glad to know somebody from Australia. My impression was always has been they're very healthy, and you sort of reinforced that.
Cynthia, not everybody.
Oh, really?
It might look that way, but not everybody, no. So yeah. I think you just see the best of us. So we're like, any other country. You've got your healthy ones, you've got your unhealthy ones, and everything in between. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm actually looking at thinking, it'll be really nice to, do some things on Get Set Up where we can talk about our cities and things and, share and learn about different parts of the world, especially whilst we are unable to travel. It would be nice to do some things like that. Anyway, that's my mind running at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So, who's that doggy, Jody? Or is it a cat? Oh, I'm just seeing a tail. It's a cat. It's a cat. I just realised. I look at it and I automatically think dog.
Yeah, no, it's a cat.
Lovely. It's nice. I like it when pets wander through. I've got a friend's dog at the moment that we're looking after, as well as my own, and they've just been taken out for a walk so they don't come jumping all over me while I'm trying to teach you. All right. On that note, we've given some time for people to get in. I'm going to share my slides and do my intro. So if you've seen this 10,000 times before, just bear with me while I come through. But first off, we're going to check that we're in the right class, the class that you're wanting to do today. It's called, oops, I'm making myself too big. I'm trying to get myself out of the way there. Core and stretch. So I have to change that. I look at that and I say wake up and move your body. It's wake up for me, but for those of you who it's in the evening, it's probably not wake up. It would be more like try to calm down and try and get some sleep by moving your body and maybe getting yourself a bit more tired. So yes, this is a core and stretch class, and it's all about moving our limbs kind of from the center of our body. Think belly, think whole body movement, but with the emphasis on core and some stretching. All right, a little bit about me. My name is Natalie W. I am here in Melbourne, Australia, where we've mentioned, if you came on earlier, it's coming into winter, so it's getting a bit cold here. I've been teaching movement since 2001. My journey started off with the yoga teacher training, and then it has just blossomed from there to all sorts of different types of movement. I'm very fascinated at the moment by lifting weights, kettlebells I really love, and mobility type of moves, but I hopefully have a well-rounded practice and are able to offer you some great tips and advice from things that I've learned along the way, right, which is what I like doing. I love to help people stay independently active and try not to take myself too seriously as we go along with that. So here we go. If you're new to Get Set Up, couple of little housekeeping tips, right? We learn from each other. It would be great if you're happy to turn your camera on so we can see what each other are doing. If you're not okay with that, that's perfectly fine. You can keep your camera off and just observe me or observe those who want their cameras on. That's totally fine. Now, I am on TV right now. We're live streaming. So if you are live streaming, you might consider next time registering for the class. That way you can participate a little bit more fully. I welcome questions as I go throughout the practice. Even while I'm up and moving, you are more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask a question, and I'll answer as best I can. If you're not okay with that, you can also type any questions you may have into the chat box, and I will do my best to get to those as well. We have the lovely Kim, who is our technical assistant. She's here for any technical issues that you may have. And again, just type the issues into the chat box and Kim will do her best to help you out with those. I've also asked her to let me know if there is a question there. Get Set Up are not paid to promote any specific products, so I will not be selling you anything here. There are a couple of props we will be using in this class today, but you can get something, anything in your household to use as those props. You don't need to go out and buy anything special. Finally, please check with your doctor if you're new to any exercise or this form of exercise. I am a movement professional, not a medical professional. So if they have given you advice contrary to anything that I might be saying here, please take their advice. And mine are all suggestions. So on that note, I'm going to stop that screen. Do we have any questions, any comments before I get up and move away from my camera a little bit more? Oh, props. That might be helpful. You might have to go and get something. I'm going to be using this, right? It's a half dome. It's a rounded surface. You want something similar. And by similar, the easiest piece is a towel that you roll up or your mat that you're rolling up, that you can roll up as well. That'll be later on, more towards the end of the class that we'll be using that. Now, I'm also today going to be using a strap. Now, anything will suffice for a strap. Anything that you can grab hold of about shoulder width apart and pull with your hands. So that could be the towel that you're going to be using, right? You could reach out and you could pull that apart. That could be a jumper. I'll probably take this off in a moment. Anything that you can have in between your hands, a tea towel, right? Something that's easy to grab. I'm looking at my pillows. You could pull apart a pillow instead. So on that note, that's what we're going to be using. A lot of the things I'm doing today will be lying down on my back or on my belly on the mat. If you're not okay with getting down to the floor, I'm going to give you some options to be done seated. I have a little stool back there and I'll be giving you those options. So hopefully everyone will be covered. We will be starting standing. So Jodie, I can see you sitting. Get yourself up, right? Unless you don't want to, because we'll come down to the mat very, very soon. So if you don't feel like standing up and getting back down again, you can stay seated. But I'm going to start standing, doing some roll down. So I'm going to now make myself bigger again. I think I'm already big on your screen. All right, speak of you. There we go. And away I come. Actually, sorry, I will take a layer off. I do have my heater on. So this can also be done seated. So Carol, so if you're sitting down and you don't want to get up, stay there, that's fine. You've done this before. Start standing, let your arms single by your sides, and we're just going to see how we feel in our spine and in our body. Maybe bend your knees a little bit, a lot, you decide, but nod your head. Let the crown of your head lead the way down towards the floor. Let your arms dangle. So we call this a roll down, right? Your upper body, it might just come a tiny little way. I'm pretty movable in my spine, so I can actually touch the floor. I'm not expecting you to get there. You may not. Right? We're going to round and we're going to reverse it to roll back up to standing on up nice and tall. Right? So if this movement gives you pain, if it gives you issues, maybe just nod your head. We're going to do that 2 more times. Right? Nod again. And we're just seeing, right? How do we feel right now? Is this an easy movement to do? Are we moving with ease, with grace, or are we feeling creaky, or are we feeling like the Tin Man right now? Right, round and roll back up to standing all the way. Right, so there's no right or wrongs. It's just a bit of a check-in with you to see where you're at right now. 1 more time. Right, rolling down. And in that checking in process, right, the 3rd time, did that become easier? Did it become harder? Right? Did you get further or not as far? All the same. Round and roll back on up to standing. All right. Now, if you're going to be coming down to the floor, to the mat, we're going to start seated on our bottoms. Come on down any way you like. If not, sit down on your chair. Come down any way you like. If you want to give yourself an extra challenge, you're going to cross your legs over and then sit on slowly down all the way. Now that might be something to file away for future reference. I've been practicing that for a long, long time, and sometimes I come crashing down. All right, so no matter where you are, whether you're on your stool, your seat, whether you're sitting, your aim is to hold onto your leg somewhere and try to lift yourself up so your spine is like you're sitting against a wall. And we're going to do the best we can to be right perched on top of our sitting bones. See those bony bits underneath your bottom, right? Sit right up nice and high. And you can use your arms to sit yourself up tall. Then we're simply going to roll backwards off those sitting bones onto the fleshy part of the bottom, and then create what we call a C curve in our spine. So we're rounding back. Right? We want to create this round shape. So I'm going back until my arms go straight. Try to keep your feet on the mat. From there, you can use your arms, keep that C shape, come forward, think head between your knees, and then lift yourself up nice and tall to where you started. Let's do that again. Round and roll on back. And I've just realized I've forgotten my strap. I'll get that in a moment. Hold your C shape, come forward, and then sit back up nice and tall. If, like me, you've left your strap or whatever you're grabbing somewhere away, grab it now, or do another one of those. And I'll just show that from the seated position for those who haven't done this before. Right, you're holding on. Same thing here. You're just going to round and roll on back. Right, you want to create that C shape in your spine and then come forward and lift back up nice and tall. Now, you can continue exactly the same way, holding on to your legs. If you feel that you kind of are okay with that process, with the moving back, now is the time that you're going to grab whatever you have. Right? Like I said, I have a strap, but anything that you can have in between your hands and you can pull apart. You're going to grab it, you're going to reach your arms out in front of you. Try to pull it apart. So you're using your arms a little bit more too. Let's find the same action. Round and roll back. You might get further back. You might not. You decide where you go. But hold it there. By pulling apart your strap, do you feel maybe a bit more connection in your belly? Right? Come forward and then lift back up nice and tall. You might want to release your fingers for a moment. Once again, pull it apart. Do the same thing. Round and roll on back. Right? Pause there a moment. Just see what's happening. If I stay here a little bit longer, I start to shake. Right? Pull your strap apart, come forward and sit up nice and tall. Do a couple more of those. I'm going to just show you the same thing from the seat. Right? You're still holding on here, or you might prefer to be on holding on your legs. Round and roll back again. Right, the same. Pull it apart, come forward, release. Do that one more time, no matter where you are, up or down. Round and roll. Come forward, lift on up now. Just sort of rest for a moment, grab hold of your legs. And at any stage during this class, if you need a rest, stop, rest as long as you like, and then just join us again when you're ready to do so. I'm going to continue from there. Same exercise, different movement. Right? Reach your arms on out or keep hold of your legs. Round yourself back. Stop and hold where you feel that you can hold it. Now we're going to twist. Turn your upper body. We're going to rotate in one direction. Then we're going to come on back to center. We're going to go the other way. We're going to turn the body. It could be a tiny bit back to center. Once again, the first way. Now we're going to do 3 times in each direction. If this is too much, come back up before you've done the 3. The other way. The center. I've got one more. I'm hitting myself with my strap as I go. One way and back. And the other way and back. And pause there. Come forward and sit back up nice and tall. All right. If you're sitting down on your mat, you're going to roll all the way down onto your back now, all the way down. Take a moment there, let your arms go, give your fingers a little bit of a wiggle. You might want to move your feet in a little bit closer. And then pick up the strap again, if that's okay. Now, it might be too much for your arms, so you don't have to pick it up. You can just reach your arms on up. So they're going on up to the ceiling. If you're seated on a chair, just reach them directly out in front of you. So see how my hands are in front of my shoulders. Same action sitting. Right now, on the mat here. We can feel our ribs on the mat. Pull the strap apart and start to take your arms overhead. Overhead. Only as far as you can feel the backs of your ribs on the mat. Right, mine go pretty much all the way. Right, yours might not go any further than this tiny little range, right? It's up to you. Let's go again. Go overhead, just wherever your arms will take you. See how I'm sort of not moving my body? If I did this or did that, right? I'm going to try and keep it down flat on the mat and then lift my arms back up. Do a few more of those, right? So if you're seated, it's just a different orientation. It's the same move. We're going to imagine that we're sitting up against the wall, or if you need to lean back in your chair, so be it. That's okay, right? So your arms are reaching out in front, you're pulling it apart, and you're lifting your arms on up. Are you still breathing while you're doing this, right? And then lower them back down. Do two more, no matter where you are, right here on the seat, or lying down on your back. Up. And down. Right, one more. Up. And then back down. Maybe rest again, fingers wiggle, maybe roll your shoulders around or shrug them up and down a bit. Stay on your back if you're on your mat. I'm going to show from up here first this time. We're going to do a bit of rotation from here. So once again, your arms reach out in front of you. So if you're on your back, up towards the ceiling, you can pull on your strap a little bit or a lot. Now we're going to rotate. So you're taking your arms over to one side. We're going to rotate one way, and then we're going to come on back to center. So out in front of you, and then rotate the other way. And then back to center. What we're doing is we're twisting from the rib cage. Right, stay there. If you're up on your chair, on your mat, you're going to take your arms. Now, here on our backs, it's hard to get our arms and our body to twist some more. So have a little play with it, right? With repetition, you might find that your body works out what it has to do to rotate. So I'm thinking as I'm turning to one side, a shoulder blade is rolling and lifting up off the mat. And then it's going to come back down on my carpet, so to speak. Go the other way, twist, and come on back. I'm going to do that one more time in each direction, over one way, and then back, and then the other way, and then back. Now, lower your arms down, pop the strap to the side so your arms can get a breather, have them down alongside your body. Pelvic curls. I do these a lot. Again, it's a spinal movement, but it's also a movement for the big muscles in the backs of your legs. Press down through your feet. Let your pelvis tilt backwards. That means your pubic bone is coming towards your belly button. Then keep pushing through your feet. Let your hips lift up off the mat. You're going to try and peel your spine up one bone at a time, right? Your lower back lifts off the mat. Your mid back, the bottom of your rib cage comes off the mat. Hold it up here. Think about reaching away from yourself with your knees, right? For me, that's into my cubes there that you can see, right? And then I'm going to roll down. I'm going to try and come down bit by bit from my upper back. I'm rolling my rib cage back to the mat. Then I'm rolling down through my waist. Then all the way down until my hips and my tail touch the floor, right? Do that again, and seated. I'll come and show you in a moment. If you remember how we started when we were sitting, it's going to be the same way there. This is going to be a bit hard, a bit awkward to do this way on your chair. But I'll come up there in a moment if you don't remember. So rolling up. I remember when we were on our sitting bones and we were rolling back onto the fleshy part of the bottom. Right? And then round and roll back down again. Right. See if you can get some action, activity, right? Your glutes, your bottom, and the backs of your legs. Do a couple of more of those down here on the mat. And I'll just remind those that are sitting, can't talk very well today, can I? All right. So here, hold on or don't hold on, right? Roll back. So we're getting that movement through the spine this way and roll back up. to do this the way we're doing on the mat, you'd have to lie down and have your shoulders on the chair, and that's hard to get into, right? So we're rolling on back, right? But we're still getting that articulation, and then coming back up. Over time, maybe I'll come up with a better idea. Do one more, no matter where you are. Round on back. And or round up and round back down again. Alrighty. Now, once we're down, we're going to do a little bit of breathing, right? We're going to pop our hands on our ribs. So I'm going to come in close so you can see where they are. Here, hands on the side of your rib cage. This can be really awkward. You might not be able to get your hands there. They might be further down here. Maybe you can just sort of feel under your ribs, or they're more here. But whatever you can to get your hands on your rib cage. And do it lying down, it's fine, right? You don't have to sit on up, but you might want to. Right, well, all we're going to do is see if we can breathe in and expand our ribs, and then breathe out and contract them. So see if you can see my hands when I breathe in. They're going to go further apart from each other, and when I breathe out, they're going to come closer to each other. That's a little external view, right? Breathe in, away they go. Breathe out, they come back together again. Right? What we see a lot of in breathing is, watch my shoulders. This, I'm exaggerating, and out. Right? That's a real exaggeration, but shoulders raise when you breathe in, and then lower when you breathe out, right? Which is sort of cutting off a bit of our breath, right? We want our ribs to expand out, and then they come back in again, right? And like everything, if what I'm saying isn't making complete sense to you right now, that's fine, all right? You're just going to play along with it, humor me maybe, right? And just do the best you can. This is about you getting in touch with your own body. Right now, as we're doing this, if you're lying down on your back, right, you might feel the backs of the ribs making contact with the mat as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, you want to see if you can keep the backs of the ribs in contact with the mat, right? So the underside, right? What I'm lying on top of, on my back, right? Breathe in and breathe out. Now, a simple breathing practice can be really, really beneficial. Maybe you spend the rest of the class doing that. If you want to move, right, what we're going to do, bring our arms out down by our sides, and then lift the leg up into what we call a tabletop position. See how my knee's at 90 degrees? And I'm just going to lower it down. I don't have to do any more than that. I'm going to alternate legs. Lift my other leg up and lower it down. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm seeing if I can keep the backs of my ribs in contact with the mat. And I'm also doing my best to breathe just as naturally as I can. I'm always trying to breathe in and out through my nose. Right? If you need to breathe another way, right, to get enough air in, do that. Right? The most important part is that you breathe in after you breathe out. It's a bit of a joke, but you know it's true. Right. So this is on our backs. If you're on your seat, same exercise, again, different orientation. One foot's going to lift up near in towards the chest and lower down, and then the other one, and then lower, right? If it's too much to lift your knee, lift your heel and lower. Trying to let you see that. Lift the other heel and lower. Find the variation that's right for you. You can always use your arms. If your arms are strong and your legs aren't, and your hips aren't that strong, use your arms. Keep going up there. Variation that you want. If you're here on the mat and you're thinking, oh, that's easy, I can pop that up a notch a bit, lift one leg, keep it lifted, lift your other one to meet it, right? So now our body is carrying more load, right? Two legs are heavier than one. Put one back down again, and then the other leg. Let's do it again. One leg's going to come on up, the other one. Now, if you found that was too much, you're getting pains in your back by doing it, go back to one at a time. Right, one down and then the other one down. Right, you choose. You're finding your version of the exercise. Now it's the same. If you're sitting in the chair, to have two legs up at once is going to be really hard. Right, you're differently predisposed to gravity right now, so it's going to be harder for you up there. So you might want to stay on the one, but who knows? You could be really strong there. I'm going to offer an extra challenge here. If it's okay to lift both of your legs up and keep them lifted. Now, again, if that's too much, you could have just one leg lifted, or you could have both feet down on the mat. Now, once we're there, we're going to take our arms up towards the ceiling. Hold it there. And then from here, what we're going to do is start to reach one leg away from us. Actually, I wanted to do a different one today. Come back. Get your hands, put them just on top of one knee. Can you pull that leg in towards your hands and push your hands into your leg? Push and pull. So your leg's going towards your head, your hands are going away from your head. As you do that, your other leg reaches away. Okay, now I'm shaking again. It doesn't have to go straight. Come back in again and switch. Your hands on your other leg. Right, push and pull, reach away. Right, could be higher up, it could be lower down, you decide. And come on back. Right, you could also put one foot down, just push and pull onto the leg like this. Keep going, right? You can find your options here. I didn't play with this on the chair, so we'll see how we go. Right, we're going to go push down. You can slide a leg away. Yeah, I can still feel that. And then come on back, and then switch, push and pull, reach your other leg out. You could also lift it off the floor, right? By stretching your leg out, it's going to make this different, right? Press. Do a couple of rounds, no matter which version you're doing, if in seated, lying down. If you're here, you can push into one leg, you could slide one leg across the floor. I'm always concerned that I'm giving too many options and then confusing people. You know, it's like going to the supermarket and you have 500 different types of mayonnaise. Which one do you buy? Right? Okay, I'm going to go one more each leg. And the last one. And then once you're done with that, hug your knees into your chest or put your feet on the floor, give them a little squeeze, make some circles here. And then go the other way. And then let your feet come to the mat. We're going to bring our hands, one on top of the other, behind the back of our head with our elbows reaching out to the side. Now, we're going to try and keep the lower body still and then curl your head and shoulders off the mat. Right? Now we're sort of focusing a little bit more on the upper part of the body and then lowering back down. Again, curl your head and shoulders off the mat. You might be looking somewhere in between your legs and then come on back down. And again, we're going to curl on up and then come back down. I'm going to give the chair version. So if you're here on your mat, stay there. If you're seated, you're going to imagine that you're up against a wall. Same thing, hands behind your head, elbows wide. You're going to curl. Think about maybe pushing your head back into your hands to give yourself a bit of resistance, right? And then as you come up, your hands push against your head to give you resistance to come on back up again. Right? You can make this really powerful, right? Sitting in the chair. So you're rounding. If you're not able to get your hands behind your head, it's this. You can nod, round forward. Oh, I can really feel that in my belly, right? And then come on back up. So that's the action. It's the same either way. Right, just where we are is different. Now, you've probably done quite a few of these on the mat while I've been up and about. You can either rest, or if you want to keep going, we're going to add those legs. As you come on up, one leg is going to lift and then lower back down. Switch legs. So we're alternating. We're going to curl on up and lower back down. And again, curl on up and lower back down. Other side, come on up and lower back down. Now, if you're feeling, right, really tricky here, you could lift both legs up and you could hold them there and then just continue with the head and shoulders, right? Or if we've done too many repetitions, stop and rest anytime you like. Right, I'm going to do 3 more of these. Like I said, I'm shaking. Now I'm getting warm. And 2. Now this is going to really get you warm on the inside. And last one, come on up and lie back down. And then lower your feet down to the mat. Lower your head down. Take your arms out wide to the side. Get your knees and feet together. And then roll your knees over to one side. So we're doing a twist. Right, we're going to hold this for a moment. So this can be part of the stretch, as the core and stretch. But we now want to use our obliques, right? Our side muscles that help roll us from side to side. So I'm going to try to roll. My right rib cage is off the mat. I'm going to try and roll my ribs back to the mat, then my waist, then my hips, and then my legs are going to come along to the right and lift back up to the ceiling. Then I'm going to take them over to my left. Oh, sorry, my legs to my right. See how my left side of my body lifts up off the mat? I'm going to try and roll my left rib cage back to the mat, and then my waist, and then my hips, and let my knees coming back up to the ceiling. Right, so it's twisting. Your knees go to one side, you're rolling back ribs, waist, and hips. The knees coming up. Then we're going to go the other way. Same thing here, ribs, waist, and hips. Now keep going if you're on your back. If you're on your mat, 2 ways to do it. You can do the same thing. You want to hold on and you can roll your knees over one side and then sort of roll them back again. Or you can do it the opposite way by maybe just reaching your arms on out to the side and twist your other body again. Right, so we're getting a rotation into the body. Doesn't matter how we get it, but do the way I'm hitting my curtains, right? The way that you have that room to move. You can also use your arms to pull and twist. So hopefully your rib cage is now turning in some way, whether you're down on your back or whether you're seated here in that position. When you've done a number of these, you're welcome to hold anything at any stage. Right? Being in this kind of position can feel really nice, but it can also feel not so great. Come on back to center. And then from there, you can keep both of your knees bent if you like, or you could stretch one out. And I'll just show you. We're going to lift one leg up and we're going to hold on to that knee so the other knee can be bent. Or if you prefer to reach it arm out, you can. We're going to make some circles with that knee. Right, you can keep hold of it, or you can let it go and try and get your whole leg moving in a circular motion. It's your thigh bone moving around in your hip socket one way and then go the other way. Now again, if you're seated, it's the same action. It's going to be harder. All right, do the best you can. You might want to hold on to it and maybe use your arms here or circle it around another way. Or circle your foot around on the floor. Right. Great option. Find one that's right for you. Switch legs if you're down on your back, or if you're seated. Right? Seated, you might want to start a bit later because I started showing you a little bit later. One way, then the other way. Call these leg circles or knee stirs. They're a hip movement. Okay. Now for the fun part, a roll up. Grab your strap, t-shirt, pillow, whatever you have in your hands and stretch your legs out. And you're going to reach on up to the ceiling first. Then take your arms overhead to wherever they go for you. Now, when you're sitting, you can start the same way. All right? I'll show you in a sec. We're going to reach our arms up to the ceiling. Now, I'm going to really pull the strap apart. Curl my head and shoulders up. And as I do that, I'm going to reach forward with my arms. Maybe you end up here. Maybe you can keep rolling, 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 rolling. Up and over. Now, see, I'm trying to keep this big C shape in my back rather than fold over my legs. So I'm trying to round and roll. And then I'm going to keep pulling on my strap. I'm trying to pull it apart as I roll myself slowly all the way down onto my back. And then my arms go overhead, right? So this is what we're trying to do. We're coming on up. We're going to curl. Again, you might stop here. You might have to go back. You might be able to keep coming, right? If you think just it doesn't feel like you're doing enough by just coming up a little bit, come up all the way and then maybe just roll back a little bit and then come back up again, right? So you can find the range that your body will allow you to do. Right. Now, we're all built differently. What I found over time, keep doing it if you're on the floor. If you're seated, same action, arms wherever you can. They might be here, they might be here. Right, we're just going to round forward and round and roll back up. Right, your version. Right. What I'm trying to say is what I found over time, people that have got shorter bodies and longer legs tend to find this is a generalization, so much easier than those of us with longer bodies and shorter legs. That's my excuse. Like it took me 2 years to be able to do this. I'm going to do one more of these. And then come on down. Now, once I'm down, I'm going to pop my strap aside again, and I'm going to do 2 Pilates exercises, and these are sort of more hardcore. So you might want to have a rest out on this one. You might want to join in, maybe just do a couple of repetitions. I'm not going to do too many, but I'm going to lift my legs, and I'm going to grab hold of them, and I'm going to use my arms to curl my head and shoulders up off the mat. Right? Take hold of one knee gently. Stretch your other leg out. You can always keep your head down, right? And maybe your leg comes up higher. I'm going to just switch legs. One knee bends in and one leg reaches away. It's called a single leg stretch. Right, so if you feel so inclined, give it a go. You can do a few repetitions. You can do a lot of repetitions for each. If you're sitting, keep going. If you're on your back, if you're sitting, stretch one leg out, switch it over, stretch the other leg out. If you wanted to, you could lift it off the mat, reach and lift. You can curl and reach. Good option. How many have you done if you're on the mat? Probably loads. Right? When you've had enough, have a rest, put your head down, hug your knees into your chest. Like I said, they're totally optional for those who just want to maybe kind of really fire up the core. If you haven't felt enough already, you might be resting. But one more to go here on our backs. It's called the double leg stretch. So I'm going to reach for both of my legs. You can keep your head down. It's a great option. You could curl your head and shoulders up. You're going to reach your arms and legs out and away from you, and then you can hug them back in. Right? You reach away and you hug back in. You reach on out and you hug back in. Another option would be legs away, arms overhead, and hug back in. I'm just going to do 2 more. Right? Reach on out. Right, hug back in, last one, and hug back in and rest. You might want to turn your head a bit from side to side. And then however you can, you might want to rock and roll upward and down. We're going to come to a seated position. I'm going to take our legs apart. You may want to bend them. You may want to prop yourself up on something. Right, when our hips are higher than our knees, it tends to take a little bit out of the hamstrings. It takes a bit of pressure out, but we call this spine stretch forward. So if you're seated, feet apart, and do the same thing with your upper body. We're just going to roll down again. So you lift up tall, nod your head, and round yourself forward. I'm going to let my hands just slide out towards my feet. I'm going to round. I'm going to let my head really hang here. It's been doing a bit of work now. Been held up in those last 2. I'm going to round and roll. Back on up to sitting tall. Go again. Nod your head. Round and roll forward. That's called spine stretch forward. So you might be getting a stretch in your back. You might be getting a stretch in your legs, feet, whatever. You might be getting a stretch all over. Or not at all. Right? Round and roll. Back up nice and tall. We'll do that one more time. Nod and round and roll forward. Round and roll back up. Now, if you're on your mat, sit in a comfortable position. I'm going to sit cross-legged, seated, again, comfortable position, wherever you are. Again, you might want to prop up on a pillow. We're going to do a side bend, a side stretch. So take one hand down by your side, reach your other arm on up towards the ceiling, and do a bend over to one side. So we're going to stretch out the side of the body. I'm going to hold it here, and I'm going to see if I can just breathe as normally as I can. I'm going to let my head hang. I just notice I'm lifting my chin up. Oh, and I just looked at the time. Where does the time go? I haven't even got to my dome. Right, if you've been with me a lot, you know, often I say, get a prop and then don't use it because I run out of time. Let's switch on over. Other side, one hand down, reach your arm on up and go. Bend over to the side. I think we might get a calf stretching, however. Over we go. You can really reach on that view. You can let your head hang. And coming back up again. Let's just do it one more time each way. Right, so I'm going over to my left and over now. This time in my left, I'm going to add a little rotation. I'm going to turn my body down towards the floor. Oh, see how that feels. And I'm actually pushing the floor away with my left hand as I'm reaching out into space here with my right hand or my right arm. Then I'll turn back to center to a sideways bend and then coming up. I'll do the same thing on the other side. So it's my right hand going down, my left hand's going to reach on up, and I'm bending over to my right. You just change the directions in your head if you're going the other way. And I'm going to turn down towards the floor. So my body's turning over my right leg. And I'm going to press the floor away a little bit with my right hand, or it's your chair if you're seated. And I'm going to reach out into space with my left arm. And you don't have to be in any particular position here. Can you just check in with your body, your own body, what's going on? How are you feeling? How it will rotate. If it will rotate, it might not. Turn back to your sideways bend and then come on up all the way. We're going to do a quick little back bend, a few back bends. So that means we're going to come onto our bellies. If you're down on the mat, stay seated. If you're on your chair, so over we go. And I always like to start with my elbows, my arms out to the sides. See, I'm cutting myself off, out to the sides and looking down to the mat. So I'm lifting my head so you can hear me. Look down. At the back of your neck can start really long. Keep your legs pressing down. Keep your pubic bone pressing to the mat. And then see if you can lift up from under your ribs here. And then come on up into a back bend. So your head's lifting up. You can push down into your arms a little bit or a lot. You might be able to look forward. I can come up relatively high. That may not be the case for you. You're coming up to where you can. And then lower yourself all the way back down. Right, let's do a couple more of those. You're going to lift on up. And then lower. Now, if you're seated on your chair, it's still a back bend here, but we're going to take our hands behind our head for a bit of feedback again, opposite of the way you went before. Push your head back into your hand, and you're going to bend your upper body, and then maybe look up to the ceiling. You might just nod your head a little bit, and then rise back up. Up and over we go. Oh, I'm holding my breath. Keep breathing. Come on back. Now, if either way, whether you're on your chair or on your belly, you're feeling, that's okay, I can do with a little bit more complexity here. You're going to grab what you have and you're going to reach it behind you and you're going to have your palms down to the floor. I'm pulling it apart. And that's the same if you're seated. I don't have a back on my chair. That might get in your way if you do. So your arms can just reach down by your side. You can pull the strap apart, maybe lift it away from your back and come on up again and lower back down and then come on up again and lower back down and one more time and lower. Pop it away, press back, sit back in a child's pose. And then we're going to come on up. I'm going to do one more activity here, one more exercise here. Right. Spread your fingers on out. Try to find this tabletop position, a flat back position. And from here, this is what I was going to do before on our back, a little bit of a bird dogging. We're going to slide one leg out behind, the opposite arm forward. You can stay like that, or you can lift them both up towards the ceiling and then lower back down and slide them in. Switch over. Arm and leg opposite, lift on up and lower. Slide them in. Keep going, slide on out. So if you're in your seat, it'd be right, one leg, one arm. You'll have to lift your leg because you can't, you can push it down to the mat and then come on back. Where am I going? And then back in again. Opposite arm and leg, reach out, lift your leg and lower. There's a version. Let's do that one more time. Let's hold a little bit longer, right? The work here will be in the hold. It's a bit of a balance challenge as well. And lower, come on in, the other side, reach on out and lift and hold. And lower back down. Now, if you're on your mat, you're going to step a foot forward. You're going to come on up. I'm going to do a quick stretch here. I'm going to try and tuck our tail under. Try and pull your legs in towards one another. And our aim is, and I'm facing the wrong way, is to get a bit of a stretch here in the front of the hip. Right, so it's like you're just moving your hip forward, but you're doing your best to remain upright with your body. Right, and a lot of us are used to sinking into this. Right, I'm trying to do the same thing, but with more emphasis on more of the tissues here in the front of the hip. If you're seated, if you can get your leg sliding back behind you a bit, you might have to scoot to the edge of your chair. You can push your leg back that way, if that's possible. But it might not be. So move around through your legs. All right, let's switch on over. The leg forward, come on up. Try to tuck your tail under a bit. Plug the legs in towards one another. See what you're feeling there. See if it's different. See how this side compares to the other side. Easier to get into, harder to get into, more sense of stretch, less. All right, we're going to come on up to standing. I'm just going to come up by lifting my knee and come up. You might need to put your hands down, whatever, however you can come up. I want to do a really quick calf stretch because I made you get this anyway, I told you to get a prop and I'm going to try and use it, right? So if you have a towel or you can roll up your mat or whatever it is that you have handy, right, you just roll it on up and I'm going to use that to step on. I'm going to use my dome. So we're going to try and stand upright. You can use anything, a book, a block, something that's handy. One foot's going to go. The ball of the foot on the dome, the heel is on the floor. That leg is straight. That's your stretching leg, the one that's on the dome, or your towel, or your mat. And we're standing up nice and tall. Let's see if we can feel some sense of stretch. If you're not getting a sense of stretch, you can step your other foot further forward. See if that makes a difference. If you're seated and you don't feel like standing up right now, that's going to be hard to do, but you can have a little toe on the top of the foot stretch instead. Pull your toes under and give that a go. This is an option. Alrighty, that's one leg. Let's do the other leg. The foot. Again, so this is my standing, my stretching leg, all of my foot's on the dome, my heel is on the floor, my leg is straight. I'm nice and upright. And the foot. Ooh, nice stretch today. It's going to be a good stretch. How are you breathing normally? Normally, what's normally, right? Normally for you. Just as naturally as evenly as you can. And out to the nose if you can. If that's not possible, you need to keep breathing, so you're going to do what you can. All right, step off. And remember when we started, we did that roll down. We're going to just finish with one of those to see if we've made a difference, to see if by doing the moves, it makes us easier or not to roll down. So come to standing, you might want to bend your knees a little bit, a lot, you choose. Nod your head, let your arms single and roll on down. Right? You might even want to do it with your legs straight. Come on down. What does it feel like now? And what do you feel? Smoother? Do you feel creepier? Can you let your arms angle, give them a little bit of a wiggle around in space? Give your head a bit of a nod? And then round and roll. Back on up, all the way to standing. And give yourself a big pat on the back. Good job. And then come on back. And let's see if there are any questions anyone has. Oh, I've got this new mouse and the battery dies on it. So let me pop myself onto a different screen. And let's do a bit of a check-in. Those of you who are still here, how do you feel after that? Do you feel like you got something out of it? Did you think it was like okay or too easy or too hard or just right? What do you think?
Just right, Natalie.
Thank you, Carol Sue. All right.
It was a little challenging for me on some points, but I went through it and I did it.
Excellent. What more can you ask for? That's terrific. Yeah, you know, and like I said, you do what is right for you in the moment. So that's terrific. Thanks, Loretta, for that feedback too. All right. I'm running out of time, so I better get back into what I need to do here on the big screen. I'm just going to share my screen again. I'm going to go to the next slides. This is a big thank you from myself, and thanks from Get Set Up for joining us in class today. So if you liked it, please share your experience. If you're on social media, you can share it with the hashtag or the I don't know what that's called, Get Set Up. Or if you have a story to tell, please email Liz at getsetup.io. She likes to blog about them and about our stories, which helps other people find us. So my next class will be tomorrow, which is a couple of hours earlier than this one, so it won't be just before you're going to go to bed or anything. It is a supple spine class. So what we do is we just try and move the spine in all of the different ways. There are so many other wonderful fitness or exercise classes on Get Set Up. Be sure to have a look at all of them and you'll find one that best suits your needs. All right, okay. So I'll be sending you a quick note after this class ends, just to say thank you for joining us, also with some suggestions for other classes, and you will also be asked for some feedback. So I'd love it if you can give me a 5-star review if you liked it. If not, you can take some stars away. It's automatically set to 4 stars, but if you do, please give us some feedback as to why. Also, I'd love some feedback. Again, if it's too hard or too easy or whatever, I can do a full range of classes. So I'm just doing the best I can with what I think might be appropriate and right, and what I'm thinking may not be right. So please let me know. All right. Also, so it is more fun to do classes with a friend, even if you're on the opposite side of the country or a different country entirely. Once you book in, once you register for a class, you'll be prompted to invite a friend. All you need to do is press that button. You'll be sent a link. You can copy that and send that to your friend. So different type on the desktop or on your mobile. You'll just see examples of them on the screen right now. And then finally, if you like our Get Set Up community, we'd love for you to share it with any organisation that you might be part of. We'd really like to get out to the whole world, basically, and make those connections from people all over the place, right? Our lives can be so much richer when we do that, when we meet people from other cultures and different communities. Anyway, look, it's endless. The possibilities are endless. So share with people that you know or organisations that you know. You could also host your own interest group if you've got a burning desire to teach something on this side of the camera. That would be terrific. And also, if you have any suggestions for other classes that we don't already offer, please let us know. The recording. Finally, if you joined in and you'd like to do this class again, you can request a recording of the class. And for all of those things, all you need to do is email help@getsetup.io, and someone wonderful will help you out with those at the other end. But I'm going to stop sharing that screen, and I want to one more time. Oh, I've managed to do it on time. Thank you all profusely for joining in. It's been wonderful to have you. I'll see you again. Thanks for the thumbs up there, Cynthia. Lovely
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Natalie.
And I hope to see you all again soon. So have a wonderful
You will. Okay.
Thanks, Loretta.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Carol, Sue, Terry, Katie, Liz, and Janet. Okay, take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.